Welcome to the Shoot Till podcast. If you don't know me, my name is Martin Depict. I'm a photographer and videographer based in Los Angeles. It's been a crazy 2 weeks. And I think I've been getting in my head more and more, and I'm trying to pull myself out of it. And I've had to really ask myself, what am I looking to get out of this? And it sucks because I hate feeling like I'm coming back to this topic, like I'm constantly having to dig myself out of this hole. And so I really want this to be the last time that I talk about this. If it's not about me getting better, I don't want to keep talking about how I feel like I'm holding myself back. So I want this to be the last time that I ever talk about this, because yes, it sucks feeling like I'm not to the point to where I feel like I should be. And I think that that's mainly because I'm very impatient. I've been editing photos over the past 2 weeks, and I think to stay on pace for me, I have to get 75 edits done a day. So 75 full edits done. That's not all me. I have a help, and it's nice, it feels like I'm in a good routine. But I have been pushing myself to get a little bit more done because we're a little bit behind. So I've been pushing myself to get 100 edits done. And I'm even looking at ways to sort of speed up the process, different plugins I can use and things like that. And maybe I'll share that in another vlog or podcast in the future when I sort of finally land on the plugins and the things that I love to use. But while I've been editing, there's these videos that I've been being fed on YouTube. And these videos, I think, are being fed to me because I'm now uploading consistently, and it's been almost 2 months now, once every week. And it's basically you could be doing this better, do your thumbnails like this, or why no one's watching your videos and all this stuff. And I'm just kind of oh shit, what am I doing wrong? Tell me. And so at first I watched the videos and I'm just kind of okay, cool, I can be doing that better. A lot of it is stuff that I'm not really taking the time to do now, but I know I should be doing, like SEO stuff. And SEO to me is it's sort of common sense to me. I when I was working as a graphic designer in corporate, they would put us in these courses to just brush up on this stuff, what is SEO, and especially because graphic designers and marketing overlap so much, understanding each other's sort of jobs in that sense is important. What works, visual trends and all this stuff. There was just a lot of knowledge that was thrown my way back then. And a lot of it for SEO hasn't necessarily changed. Keywords, metadata, I think with YouTube, it's changed a little bit because now it's just not only the tags, it's also it's not just the first 150 words of the description, but that first 150 words of the description is used. Let me let my cat out. Anyway, that first 150 word part of your description is used in the metadata for YouTube search and for Google, because YouTube is owned by Google. So things like chapters, all that stuff, how you name your chapters could be a way that someone finds you in Google. And all this stuff is stuff that I already kind of sort of knew. Is just stuff that I didn't want to jump in right away because I'm still getting used to this. I'm still, again, I'm just dipping my toe in with the intention of me, eventually I'm going to be in. but as of right now, I'm coming in slowly. I want to make sure that I get comfortable doing this first before I bite off more than I can chew. And I just got to overthinking it. The more of those videos that were fed to me, the more I'm just kind of shit, I'm doing this wrong and doing this wrong. And then I texted a couple friends and I was like, hey, should I do this? And they were like, yeah, you can do that. It could be beneficial. And then I just, again, it's just me sort of being this sort of person that overthinks and like wants to be perfect right out the gate, where I'm just kind of like, I had to like pull myself back. And I'm trying really hard to pull myself back in the moment. And I'll give you guys an example. In this next vlog coming up, Luna and I go and take portraits because my profile picture is now out of date because I have no hair. So we went out to take new pictures, and I was looking at the photos on my computer, and it looked like, after color correcting and light correcting and everything, I felt like I was looking at Uncle Fester. Like, it's just like, and like, it felt like, those like really high definition photos of SpongeBob and like Ren from Ren and Stimpy, like where you just see like every wrinkle and pimple and everything. Like, that's how it felt. And like, I was just like looking at those photos of myself, and I'm like, oh shit, like I need to start taking care of my skin, and I think as a guy, I don't, lotion and sunscreen, that's sort of like the main things that I've sort of like known. But I'm trying to get better at it. I need to get better at taking care of my skin. So Luna last year got me like this little travel kit, skincare from I'm not sure if I pronounced their name right, Laneige. And so I started using it after the photo shoot because I was like, okay, let's start doing this as a routine, taking care of my skin, especially now that I have more of it on my head. Like, I need to also make sure that stays good and I'm not getting like pimples and stuff everywhere. Because my skin scars up pretty easily. So after about a couple of days about using the skincare, I am like, I'm just using this travel kit, and like I should be saving this travel kit for when I actually travel. So let me go get some like full size stuff for the house. And so we go into Sephora, and I go straight to the stuff that I'm already using. But there's this whole wall of shit. So me being me, I'm like, well, maybe there's other options that are better for me, like, because like me being me, I don't want to come back every couple weeks, like I want once or twice a month. Just give me like the biggest fucking tub of this shit that you have, and I'll just fucking do it. Like, I'm not trying to, come back every so often. Like, if I could do it, I'll just put it on subscription. Like, that's the kind of shit. That's the kind of person that I am. The easier it is for me, the better. Like, another example is my t-shirts. I buy boxes of like blank shakas because why not? You buy it wholesale, you get it cheaper anyway, and I don't have to, go buy new clothes all the time. It's just I always have like a nice fresh shirt, and so that's sort of like, maybe not the smartest thing financially, but it's sort of what, sort of like the Steve Jobs type mentality, to where like I just want to wake up, throw some pants on or some shorts on, and throw on a t-shirt and be good. Like, I think the most thought that I put into my outfit is my shoes. And yeah, but other than that, it's usually just a white or black t-shirt. But anyway, back to the skincare. I'm in Sephora. I'm looking at all these things. The ladies coming up to me and asking me what I'm looking for, and then suggesting things. And after about 20 minutes, I go up to Luna and I go, I think I'm doing too much. Like, let me just, the lotion, the face lotion is the same size of the one that I have at home already. So let me just get a bigger size of the toner and cleanser, and that's it. Let's grab that and bounce. And similar to the YouTube thing is that like I start to think like I need to be doing this different. I need to be doing that different. And so granted, there are a few things that I want to do moving forward that will set me up for the future, but I don't want to do too much right away. So, for example, I think in the future, separating my podcast and the vlogs on two separate channels, that will be beneficial, as well as like YouTube shorts and stuff that I eventually start doing down the line. But I'm not doing that yet. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep everything here. I'm going to keep posting everything on this channel, but my vlogs are going to be collaborated with my Shoot to Ill YouTube page. And my podcast is going to be uploaded still here and also be collaborated on the Shoot to Ill podcast YouTube page. That way I'm creating those pages, but I'm not sort of having to log into a bunch of different YouTubes and upload it to a bunch of different places. You know, that kind of stuff is just, I don't want to feel like I'm taking on more than I can handle. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. And I think like for the few of you that saw my YouTube post that said like, oh, this is what I'm going to be doing, like, forget it. Just pretend you never saw it. It's, again, like, I don't like being this way, but like I sort of get an idea in my head and I run with it. And a lot of the times it's sort of like led me to a good place, to where like I'm very relentless in that way, to where like if I have my mind set on something, I will do it till it's done. But I think as of right now, there's this sort of mentality that I need to keep of like balance. So like, don't do too much over here, or else this is gonna suffer, and don't do too much over here, or else that's gonna suffer. I need to make sure that I keep things moving little by little. And I was asked, or I had to ask myself, what do I want out of this? And I think like one, obviously, as I've been saying, I want to get better. I want to get better at this. I want to come out as a better creator for my clients, and also myself. But I think on a deeper sort of level, I want to find my people, man. Like, I think like it's been tough since quarantine. Like before quarantine, like there was these like photo walks, and like I used to be around a lot of people. Now I'm just sort of like very, you know, secluded and in my own ways. And I think that I think I'm so hard on myself because I feel like I'm hard on some people, and I need to, you know, get better. I think like, you know, I've been in therapy now for a couple of years, and my therapist gave me a challenge to like, whenever I'm out, just to like say hi to random people and make conversation. And like, easier said than done, you know, like, do the people at the drive-thrus count? You know, like going to get my coffee and stuff, like that's it's just like, I don't want to go out of my way to do it, but like I think I need to do it. And yeah, it's just tough. Like I think like mentally, the person who I was 6 years ago is not the same person that I am now. And I think like, obviously, I think none of us are. But, you know, I think some people came out of it on the other end willing and ready to, you know, come back and be a part of a community. And me, I was just kind of like, I have the things that work already, you know, like I work with the clients that I'm good with already. You know, I'm very fortunate to get this work, and like, I'm not trying to overcomplicate things and include new people to like, you know, just like, you know, knock me off of my game, you know, like I get it. I get that I need to do it, and it's healthy to do it, and I need to challenge myself. And I do feel the need to want and to challenge myself. And I think this is a reason why I'm also doing it. But yeah, man, I think I just I want to find my community. And I think like this is obviously very different than the community that I built on Instagram. I think on Instagram, when I was coming up, posting a lot of the photos that I was, just sort of like thirst trapping and getting those likes and like very easy sort of like growth hacking, I guess, in that sense. Before the, you know, before like algorithms and all this shit, like it was just, it was it was easy to get eyes on your stuff, like, you know, like just shooting a model and posting it and working with the right people that had large followings already. Like it felt like I was getting people to see me but not actually know me, you know, like they were getting to see my work, but they maybe had an idea of me that was maybe completely wrong. And this sort of introduction of like me getting on YouTube and like wanting to do this shoot to ill thing is me wanting to just like prove to myself that my content has value, you know, even without the models in it. And so it's not for everyone, 100%. I think that there's a lot of people that follow me that, you know, there's like people have been unfollowing for years, just like trickling out, and it's fine. Dude, like, it's not I don't want to worry about it. And I don't think I have worried about it. It's just like one of those things that it is mentally draining if you put too much thought behind it. It's just like, oh, like it's almost like having a party and worrying about if people are coming or not. Like, I'm not the type of person to worry about who comes. Like, I just want the people that I really fuck with to be there, and I know those people will be there because they love me. And everyone else, yeah, there's beer in the fridge. Like, have fun, you know. Like, I don't want to babysit anyone, and it's and that's sort of how it feels. Like, I don't want to have to like post something on some platform and then have to hold your hand and say like, hey, you know, like, you know, come look at this and like put on an act. Like, that's just not who I've ever been. I think moving forward, I want to just make sure that I'm, again, and I talked about this when I came back, is just being authentic, 2, getting better, and then 3, now just finding my people, finding my community, the people that actually really fuck with me. And, you know, little by little, I hope this is shown to the people that feel the same way or want to be doing the same thing or are doing the same thing and are feeling the same way. You know, it's tough, you know, like, and I think like a lot of the times we're like, if I wanted to just growth hack, right, I could very easily, fucking cat, or it's sick. Yeah, if I wanted to just growth hack, I could easily do this very like aspirational life type shit and just like, you know, feel like I'm showing off and like, you know, show only the good things, you know, like the you know, expensive clothes and going on trips and working with people and you know, do the more sexier stuff. And that's just like, to me, that feels unauthentic. Like, whenever someone leads with that, it feels very unauthentic. I want to be the person that I've always been, which is I feel like someone that my clients can trust and confide in and be friends with. And like, yeah, people say, you know, clients can become friends, but friends can't become clients. That's definitely been true in my circles. Some of my best friends are people that I work with, you know, my editor, some of the models that I work with. It's just like, I'm very fortunate to have that, to feel like we line up on goals and we can go and move forward and sort of attack the same target, and for the lack of better words. But yeah, like it's a, where was I going with this? Making friends is hard, dude. It's a, and I think like doing this and being more vulnerable online, and I'm actually pretty comfortable of not a lot of people saying this. Like, if it gets views down the line, cool. But like right now, it feels nice knowing that like the 30 or 40 people that do end up watching this, like, and then like even then the 10 or 5 of those 30 or 40 people that watch the whole video, fucking thank you. Comment down below, like the video, just like share it, like there's way more to being a creative than living this sort of like aspirational lifestyle. And I think like, and I'm always teetering with like the idea of like, what more can I do? Like what else can I take on? And having to pull myself back from that is tough because I'm already taking this on. And again, I feel like I'm repeating myself. I think I repeat myself because I'm having to push myself through this. There's constantly these moments in my life, in my career, where I have to like push myself over it. And I have to like tell myself I could do it, or tell myself this is what I have to do to get over it. And it's worked, right? Like I think self-motivation is a big thing, is a big part of this. As a freelancer, the feeling that hunger, that sort of like that motivation that you have to push yourself through, you have to motivate yourself to have to go and go look for that next check and the next opportunity. It's crucial. If you don't have that, if you can't motivate yourself to go out and look for the next job, like it's going to be very hard for you to find work. And right now, when not a lot of people are working, to be fortunate enough to still have some work, I'm very grateful for. Like even like on the weekends when I try to take time off and try to just relax, I wake up, make my coffee, and I'm like, man, this is fucking awesome to just like have, a place and to not feel like I'm worried about shit. Cause the other end of that sucks. And I've been on the other end of that. And that feeling, I don't know. I guess you never really recover from it, because it is sort of like survivor's guilt almost, or like you're just kind of like, fuck, like there's this sense of like, when's the other shoe gonna drop? It is like, when is, obviously there's bad shit going on, and I have tried to tell myself that I'm not gonna talk about that type of shit or politics on here because it'll just like piss me off. But even without that negative shit sort of like clouding up what you have going on, there's other negative shit that you have to worry about. So, like I'm constantly worried about, where I'm going to be at 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. A lot of it is just sort of like wasted energy where I'm like, I'm good now. Like, enjoy the moment now. Don't worry about all that shit. And like, again, it's easier said than done, but it's one of those things where I just have to, if I keep those thoughts in, it's harder for me to release them. So, talking about it with people, other people feel the same way. I've talked to models and clients that are just kind of like, yeah, like, like what we don't, that feeling of when the other shoe is going to drop is very relatable. Look, I think I still think that there's work out there for people, right? Like if you're a photographer and you can't find any work, but you're really good at what the fuck you do. I mean, like maybe you don't want to shoot weddings or anything like that. I know that there's a lot of great photographers who can put together a really good website and put together, a brand name or an LLC pretty quickly and start working pretty immediately. And I think a lot of those people maybe hold themselves back because, they, it's not something that they necessarily saw themselves doing. And, I'm with you. Like, I think like for me, I've shot everything, product photography, every kind of portrait photography, engagement photos. I've done it all. And I think that if you're worried about AI taking your job, I think the most safe work is the stuff that where you're hired to document stuff. So your wedding photographers, your engagement photographers, the graduation photographers, all that stuff. Those jobs are safe, and I do see like those pay, and I do see the pay for those jobs going up eventually in the future. It's just like as people see the value in it more, it will go up. But that's not to say that that's the only option. I think like when I was working at the marketing agency French Fry with my friend Noah, we would take on interns, and it would probably be like maybe 1 or 2 interns a year. And I'd see these kids, right, come in and work under me. And sometimes, or this is also including people that took my workshop, I think like sometimes I would give people advice and say like, look, when I first started, I sent out like tens and tens and sometimes hundreds of emails a day to different models or different brands or different things to like get that work. Like you need to have that same drive. And this mentality of like, oh, like, no one, there's always someone out there willing to work for less. It's just like, yeah, but like they get what they pay for, like you have to be, it's almost like, this God, it's almost like if you think that your work is worth it, you need to show them that your work is worth it. I think like a lot of graphic designers or directors now, they do all this spec work. And I think that like they do that spec work to show people that like, this is what I can do. This is what I'm capable of. And I think a lot of that spec work sometimes is necessary. And I think like when it comes down to some of the interns I've had, you get a spectrum of different people, but there's like people who realize that like, hey, this is not for me. And then there's people that are just kind of like, this is cool, but it's not what I want to be doing in the long run. And then there's people that are like, I just want to be doing enough to, do my stuff on the side. And then there's the last group of people who are the people that are like dogs. They like, and I think like the craziest thing is that like two of the girls that worked for me as interns, those 2 girls like took off, like I remember one of them, she was doing like food photography. And I told her, I was like, look, you're living in this place that has a bunch of different restaurants around. They all need content. Just go around, ask people like, hey, like, this is my work. If you guys ever need photos, I live right down the street, just like let them know. She started shooting stuff for like Sidecar Donuts, just like randomly and pretty occasionally, pretty often. So I should probably do a better job at like keeping in contact with some of those people. But I think I don't do a good job at keeping contact with anyone, unless it's people that I work with, that I live with, or people in my immediate family. There's not a lot of people that I keep up with. And maybe that's a little sad, but it's just how it is. And I'm realizing that I need to get better at it for sure. There's speaking of like YouTube videos that get fed to me, it's just kind of like, I also get the videos that are like, how to work for your favorite brand or how to do this and how to do that. And it's just like, I've worked with really big brands and like I've done all this stuff, and it's just like, it is really cool. But like a one-off check is just a one-off check, like I would rather work with clients long-term. I'll tell you one last story before I end this. When I first got my first check, I think like I've told this story before, like my first check was at Volcom. But during my internship at Volcom, I went to a few of their e-com shoots. And it was basically a studio, and then a photographer would come in with his team. They would take the photos, they would edit them, and then they would send back the photos to Volcom. And then I was interning at the catalog team at the time, so I would take those photos, cut out the background, and then send them or put them on the catalog or send them to different people, whoever needed them. And I thought that was interesting, but the person, and this person probably doesn't even remember this, but like the person that was shooting that stuff, his name was Big Jim. That's what they called him. And he just like, sat in the back of the room, and he had an intern at the computer just pressing the shutter from a keyboard. And he was just sort of like making sure things were moving. Like, okay, next model up. All right, front, side, back. Next model up, front, side, back, close up. And it's just like, it was a machine, And he had been working for Volcom, or he had been working with Volcom for a while now. And I think that like, that's sort of where like my mentality changed, where I was just kind of like, oh, there are these people that work with these brands that build relationships with them and are not just like a part of the system that it feels sort of monotonous. Like these are people that work outside of the company and get hired by the companies to create all this stuff, and it gets done. I think a lot of companies now have brought that stuff in-house, but there's still those people that do it. And I think that that's sort of what I have focused on, is this sort of like mass producing content, and like whether it's for Instagram or for OF or for clients that I work for, models, or even just people that just want content, is just building those relationships, sustaining those relationships, and then making sure that I get that content done so I look good as a photographer, as a content creator, as a producer. And I have thought of myself as that, as someone that has been on the same level as Big Jim, someone who's lucky enough to work with people that they respect and also respect him, and fortunate enough to still have work when a lot of people don't. So, it's nice to have, but at the same time, I'm sure Big Jim had other dreams besides that, and wanted to do other stuff, and still, dabbled in some other shit that he wanted to do. Because I'm sure that's how his studio came about in the first place. Is everything is always just a thought before it actually takes place, and yeah, like right now, shoot to ill and what I'm doing with this and how I'm choosing to move forward. It's all sort of baby steps, right? Like first, getting comfortable in front of the camera. Once I get comfortable in front of the camera, cool. Then let's do some B-roll. Like what I think my B-roll sucks, or I need to start doing more B-roll, and let's maybe focus like, maybe an hour a day on just like getting some B-roll or getting some filler shots for the vlog, or focus on maybe some more interesting shots for the podcast, or maybe get a second camera, like, but I again, it has to be baby steps. If I think about all that stuff right away, right now, I'll overwhelm myself, and I'll just end up telling myself again, like I was in Sephora, I'm doing too much. This is like, what am I doing? Like this, I'm taking on too much. And like, if I get that overwhelming feeling too much, then that's basically just me telling myself, like, is this even worth it? And I know that this is. That's the crazy part, is that I know that this in the long run will pay off. If I can stick with it, if I can be consistent, if I get the right people watching it, like you that's still here at the end of this video, it means something. And if you have something that you want to start or you want to do and you've been putting it off, just fucking do it, man. Just fucking do it. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast. I really appreciate you staying to the end of the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Again, I really appreciate all you guys for your time. This is going to be the last time I talk about shit like this. The next podcast, we're talking about some actual productive stuff. And maybe leave it in the comments of what you want me to talk about, or what you want to know, when it comes to my workflow, or what you want to know about me or anything. Make suggestions. I'll read them. I'll get back to you guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Or no, I'll see you guys next week for the vlog, but in 2 weeks for the next podcast. Until then, keep shooting. Peace.